What you are about to see are what we call laser coaching sessions. These are special 10 to 15-minute sessions, so they're pretty short, but we get to dig into one topic with a circuit sales system student at a pretty in-depth level. Now, even if you have a different business than the person that we're talking to, I would still encourage you to listen because I am positive that you will also get a big takeaway for your business. So enjoy.
My name is Alyssa McGrew. I'm a branding strategist. So I focus primarily on helping companies come up with a complete branding package, brand voice, brand messaging, colors, logo, all of it. Really coming from the unique angle of, for most of us, our brand really is about us as people, as individuals. And the best way to stand out is to be yourself and to capitalize on the things that make you unique as a person. Because none of us are really doing anything for the most part that is truly unique in the sense that someone can always go somewhere else, right? So why you? It's because of you.
Yeah.
And so what I'm doing right now is working on getting a little bit out of that one-to-one client model and working on building in some automated things and courses and things that don't require me to be present for every sale and every dollar, because my hours are just my hours, right? Nobody can multiply their time. So I've got to get out of that, being stuck solely in that model. Where I'm at right now is I have one thing. I only have one thing at the moment to put into the circuit as far as an offer. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of I don't know, part of it is done for you. It's a branding package where there's a lot of interaction with the client. Mm-hmm. I still am going to create the logo for them. I'm still going to talk them through a lot of the steps of messaging and choosing their colors and how to use their branding on social media and all of that. The thing that's unique about it from every other branding strategist is I have two mini courses kind of that go with it. One is about how to actually use your branding efficiently or effectively mm-hmm. on social media. Yeah. Because people get a logo and then they think they're done and they have no idea where to go from there. And then the other part is about that messaging and the how to develop your messaging and start talking about your business in ways that connect with people, mm-hmm. making that emotional connection through your branding. So it's part done for you and part here's these courses now to make better use of what I'm giving you. Uh-huh. But that's still part one. Part of that is still done for you, like takes a certain amount of my hours. Yeah. So I have this, I know it works. I've used it. I've sold it. That's all great. And I could start the circuit with that. Like I could do my first circuit with that. Yeah. Or my other thing is what I would love to do eventually is have this be more of like a membership type thing where people who are getting started, they join for a year and we work through it all together in like group coaching kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. They might work on their logo and then they get feedback from me and then they go back and they work on it some more. So mm-hmm. It's for the business owner that wants to be more proactive in building this stuff themselves. Mm-hmm. But I don't know if it's okay to like, part of me is like, I don't know if it's a good idea to launch something like that initially with the circuit, because I feel like memberships are weird if you have two people in them. So I'm trying to decide like, where should I go with my first circuit? Should I just go where I'd ultimately like to be? Or should I start with the thing that I know I can sell that is already working? Does that make sense?
It does. It definitely does. And really the good news is that you could do either and it's a matter of personal preference. The bad news is that you could do either and it's a matter of personal preference. But I mean, really the question is, do you need, and I ask this as a business owner, do you need cash sooner or do you have a little bit more time to put into putting together the membership? And I think it sounds like you have a lot of assets you could reuse, but it's I work with plenty of business owners who are like, I need to get this going now because I need this cash infusion into my business, and then I can make tweaks later. Right. Which, that's how business goes. So it's really, I think I would start making that decision from that place of, okay, do I need to make some cash and make these sales so that I can have time to build out this membership and then, create a circuit for it? I think that's probably the first question I would ask myself if I were you.
That's a good question. I hadn't thought about it that way. I was trying to think about like what's the best long-term strategy, but maybe the best is what do I need right now?
Well, you can have the best long-term strategy, but if you don't have a short-term strategy to pay the bills, you're never going to make it to the long-term, right?
Right. That's true. Okay. Good point.
And you may, if you start selling a lot more consistently, you're done with, it's kind of that hybrid. You may, number one, you may get some really great insight into what people would pay for in the membership. In addition to what I'm sure you already have. And then also you may find opportunities to make it a little bit less, to make it done for you, but not so much you doing it for them. You know what I mean? Finding opportunities to maybe outsource some portions of it, and maybe you already do outsource some of the logo design and that kind of thing. But you may find things where, I'm getting the same question from the same people. So let me put together a little training for them so that I don't have to be on this call with them going through the same thing when everybody's got the same questions,
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. Yeah. I've thought about I have a quiz that I've used as a lead magnet. I've thought about, I'm already paying for that. How could I incorporate some of this interaction and have them take a quiz that gives me the same information, things like that. So, okay, that's good. That's a good way to look at that too. The thing about this hybrid thing is that I'm doing now is that I've really limited to like 10 a month that I can conceivably sell because of the hours that are involved. And so that was the other thing. I was like, if I get this circuit really going and I start selling 10 a month, then I can't sell anymore because I can't deliver.
Yeah.
So, that's kind of the other factor for me in trying to decide if I go through all the work to sell 10 a month, then because where I'm at right now is I have people that want to hire me that I can't because I'm maxed out. Like I got a waiting list. I've had a waiting list, which is great, but I feel like I'm wasting opportunity, You know what I'm saying?
So is the people who are on the waiting list now, they are on a waiting list for you do everything, like the full done for you. Okay.
Right.
Yeah. And so is that, and that's a little bit different from what you would think you would put in the circuit, right?
A little bit. Yeah. Because it's more of that hybrid. I'm trying to, and I've already moved toward that a little bit in my business as it stands now, but yeah, the people, especially the website builds, like I have people waiting for me and those are so time consuming when we're building a website from scratch. Like,
exactly. And all the rounds of client feedback and all that stuff. Yeah, absolutely. Well, the only tricky thing that I'm thinking in terms of moving to the DIY option is, are they going to be designing their own websites? Are you going to be, are you going to, you could say, all right, here's what we recommend, go to Squarespace and here are the templates that we recommend and we'll give you feedback. I think that's a little bit more, drag and drop. I think them designing their own logo might be a little bit, you could teach them how to find someone to design their logo, certainly. But, most business owners are just not going to have the design skill or the eye to evaluate whether or not the branding elements are any good. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, that's where the feedback from me would. I am in a lot of Facebook groups, and I see a lot of times people go to Canva and try to make their own logo, and then they're posting for feedback, and and then
they end up with either they just use a Canva logo and shove their words in there, or
right. And I thought about maybe including in that some sort of maybe a 30-minute strategy session or a 30-minute where I can help sketch out some of their ideas and give them something to work off of, or go into Illustrator and sketch it out and give them the basis of it and then help them flesh it out. The most time consuming part of logo design is that back and forth with clients. They want 5,000 edits because they don't really know what they want until they see it. And so,
well, I mean, most clients don't know because that's not their wheelhouse, right? They have no concept of where to even begin thinking of what it could look like. I'm wondering, even if like even if it could be something like, here's how to use 99 designs to get a logo. Here's the inputs that you need to give them. And then here's how to evaluate. And then come back once you've got your top 5, come back into the group, and then we'll give you some coaching. But teaching them how to explain what they want. Because that's the biggest thing for clients, right? Is to teach them how to be clients and how to get them clear on what it is that they actually want. Because then in that way, it would take it off of your plate to have to actually do the design. And they would feel like they're a little bit more in control. I mean, you could do that with something like with web design, although it's a little bit trickier. But I think just in terms of logo, that might be a good way to go and a way to kind of take yourself out of having to do the actual work itself.
Yeah. Yeah. With website design, I had thought about doing like a video series of like how to build a Squarespace site, and walk them through the basics and then incorporate some sort of like weekly coaching call where they can ask all their questions, they can share their screen, and I can,
Well, and I feel like it's almost with Squarespace, it's the same thing. Like, here's the thing is that Squarespace has really great really great tutorial videos. Right? That's their wheelhouse. And they're going to update the tutorial videos if something on their interface changes, which sucks if you create something with their interface and then you're getting all your students being like, I can't find it. I'm wondering if it's more like, this is what we recommend. Here is the process for evaluating what needs to be on your website. Here's the process for evaluating a template or finding the right template for you. Here is the process for evaluating what you want your color palette to be, and then what you want 1 or 2 key colors to be. And then here's a website where it will build out the color palette for you, that kind of thing. So you teach them the strategy, and then they execute on it. And again, Squarespace has the expertise in terms of teaching them how to use Squarespace. They don't need you for that. They need you for strategy.
Yeah. Okay. That makes a lot of sense. I like that. That's really smart. And that's something that I haven't really seen a lot of out there. Like, it seems like you're either trying to do it yourself or you're hiring someone, and there's not a lot of options in between.
Exactly. And I think that would be a really great way to position it too, is this is the Goldilocks option, right? It's not too hot, it's not too cold. You still get control of it, but you're not building it out yourself. You get complete control of it. And you also, I teach you how to know, or you will, how to know what to look for and how to evaluate, because that's where a lot of clients get tripped up too. A designer sends them back a bunch of options and they go, I don't know. And then they go post in a Facebook group going, I don't know, which one do you like? When it's not what anybody else likes that matters, right? It's, does it cover off on all these things they're looking for? And does a client,
right.
And it is a,
they get 300
that they can use in different places and that kind of thing. I think if you taught that, the strategy behind the branding, I think you would be so much, first of all, I think you'd be happier in terms of what you ended up teaching and what you end up giving feedback on. Because if you teach them how to use Squarespace, then every single call, it's going to be like, where's the button for this? And you're going to have to go, all right, let's all open up Squarespace together. But when you say, look, Squarespace has amazing tutorials, better than I could even give you. That's where they excel. Where I excel is teaching you how to plan, teaching you how to get what you need out of that software and how to get what you need out of 99 designs and how to get all of that kind of thing. I think that's what I would lean into if I were you.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. And then structuring that, you would structure something like that as a membership then, or as a course program that they're buying.
The interesting thing is effectively, they can end up being essentially the same thing. Like, for example, if you're like, I would sell a year's membership, and then after that, they would pay me monthly or something like that. There's kind of no difference between I'll sell this course and you get access to it for a year, and then after that, you pay monthly if you want to keep getting if you want to keep getting, it's almost kind of semantics, you know?
Yeah, that's true. Probably makes more sense with the circuit though, since I'm putting all of the effort and money into marketing to try to get a lump sum up front.
Oh, you absolutely would. If you're going to sell a membership, you have to do it as a lump sum. You can't be like $37 a month, because it's not going to, your drop off rate's it's not going to work. But
well, you're going to spend enough in marketing, I think, especially in the B2B, to get them in the first place.
Exactly. You're going to spend $75 to get a $37 conversion. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Right. But so yeah, I would do either like a 6-month lump sum or a 6-month, package, or a 1-year package or something like that. Yeah.
Okay. So from a business owner perspective, would you say, like, if you're a new business owner, or you're just trying to get some branding together, or you are a business owner and you realize your branding is not doing you any favors, are you going to tend to think, okay, I need to get this done quickly, so 6 months maybe is better because I got to get this done? Or are you going to think, I prefer a year so that I have all the time I need?
Well, I was going to say too, don't discount the fact that people are going to want to ask you questions too. And that's going to be a big part of, you'll learn how to do all this stuff, but they're going to want access to you to have you look at their stuff and to give. So I would think, that can be part of your messaging. Like, look, you can get all this done in just a couple of months, but you're going to have questions and you're going to want to come back but in terms of what your audience needs, you work with your audience, so you would probably know better than I would, but I'm assuming that this is going to be relatively new to business, not even yet to the 6-figure mark or heading there, maybe just a little over 6 figures. They tend to have more time than cash.
Okay. Yeah, that's true. Been there, done that.
Right? We all have.
Yeah.
They're at that part. It's
right.
We all remember.
Okay. So you would interpret that you're saying maybe a 6-month program with a little bit lower price tag might be easier to sell than a 12-month program with a higher price tag.
But you could also, you could sell the 12-month and then do the 6-month as a downsell. So take them through, put 12-month package in your fast action. Like, your 12-month package is the standard package. But if after the first sales sequence, they still haven't purchased, then you can offer them the 6-month package if you want to.
Okay. That's a great idea. I like that.
Yeah. Always better to start them at the higher price point than at the lower price point.
Right. Okay. How do you find it works? Like, is like the weekly or biweekly Zoom call the way to go, in your opinion? Like, now that you're doing this, or is there a better strategy for like that interaction element?
I do like Zoom rather than any of the other things that I've ever used, because you get to see people's faces. It's, no matter what, it's always going to get chaotic in the comments, and it's hard to keep track of it all. But I do think that Zoom works pretty well. It can be a lot to manage both coaching calls and Facebook groups. So bear that in mind, and at least price it out accordingly, so you don't find yourself working like a ton for not as much as you should be making. And set expectations in terms of what they ask and when and all that kind of thing. But I do think the Zoom calls work really well. And they get to see each other's faces as well, and that can be kind of nice.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. The other interesting thing is that for me, I've always required a consultation before I take anybody on. And I've said no to people just because I could tell from the consultation they weren't going to be an easy client.
Yeah.
It's nice to have that option to pick and choose. So I'm also thinking, okay, I got to make sure that I have all the right structure in place. So if I get those people in, that I'm not feeling like they're constantly knocking on my door at all hours of the day and night.
You have to have boundaries. Like in our Facebook group, I go into the Facebook group once a day and I go through, all the questions that I wish Facebook made it a little bit easier to see when the new questions come out.
Right.
My personal, but I'll go in once a day and answer what's in there. And Everybody's got and if you miss me that day, if it's in there, you're going to get it 24 hours or less. But so you can set that boundary that they're not going to get immediate access to you. And that can be, it's more us setting boundaries as business owners for ourselves. Because it is tempting to be like, oh, let me just go in the group. And all of a sudden you find yourself sucked in and you're spending 2 or 3 times a day in the group because we want to give and we want to help people succeed. Certainly we do. But setting that boundary is important. Yeah.
Yeah. Especially since
oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, just because I won't be able to handpick clients in this scenario like I can.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, here's the thing is you're always, especially in a program where it's mostly DIY, like what we were describing, there are going to be clients that you're like, oh. And you learn how to like deal with them on the calls and you learn how to, but eventually if you have limited access, they're going to cycle out eventually, or they will, I've noticed that often the problem clients are the ones who drop off the quickest, even though you give them, but
they're always going to want something you're not giving. So
yeah, exactly. They're just, some people don't understand how it works. But I mean, if you did the circuit for You're Done with You, then if you wanted to, you could add an application process, that kind of thing. It's really more about the direction that you want to take your business,
Yeah, that's true. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I really want to get out of this Done for You thing as much as possible. I would love to be able to just handpick a client or 2 here and there and to keep my skills fresh because I need to continue designing and keeping up with trends and everything. But I'm really over the 5,000 revisions of a logo that are completely irrelevant to anything. Like it doesn't really matter if the shade of green is one lighter or one darker, and why do we have to go back and forth 5 times?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know.
So I really like this. What you're talking about, teaching the strategy, that makes so much sense.
And then they understand what makes something good and effective versus just, I don't know, I asked my friends and they said this logo,
And most of the time the friends are wrong anyway.
Oh yeah, exactly. It's a matter of like, well, what are you trying to accomplish with this? Okay, well, your friends have no idea what you're trying to accomplish and your friends aren't your target audience. So why would, anyway.
Exactly.
Yes.
All right. Well, that is so helpful. Thank you. That really gets me gives me some focus here to finish up and move on. Because that's where I was really stuck. Because I'm like, I think I'm pretty close on the foundational stuff, but I felt like I really needed to know what my direction was to make sure that all of that.
Oh, absolutely. You need to know what you're going to sell before you start putting together your sales stuff. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Because it does change. I mean, I don't need to tell you that. It changes depending on what I'm selling. So, all right. Okay.
Yay.
I like that. Yeah, this helps a lot. Really does. Like I'm like, okay, now I'm ready to move on. I got a direction, I think.
Awesome. Good for you.
So right, thank you for that.
My pleasure. Thank you for hopping on this call with me. I really appreciate it. I'll see you in the Facebook group and on the calls.
Okay. Sounds good.
Bye, Alyssa. Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in. Do you want to learn how to sell and scale your offer on autopilot every single day without the chaos of live launching or the low conversions of Evergreen? Who doesn't, right? Get our free on-demand video training at circuitsalessystem.com/free. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to this channel to make sure you never miss a video. We'll catch you next time.